Hi guys, in this video we are going to work with Preparatory Examination 2023 Mathematics Paper 1 Grade 12. Yes, that was written on Gauteng Province, right? Without wasting time, let's get to today's video. The first question that we are going to look at is question 1. Today specifically we are going to look at question 1. Right, at 1.1 we are given we are required to solve for x, given that 2x plus 1 squared minus 4 equated to 0. So first thing is to work out the brackets in this case. Right, let's try and work out the brackets. Okay, so we'll work out the brackets in this case. What are we given? We're given we are given 2x plus 1, okay, squared minus 4 equated to 0. So that was 4 marks. That was 3 marks if you can check. So let's work it out. First thing first is to take out, transpose negative 4 to the other side. It becomes positive 4. So let me use a different pen because of what it does there. Let's try this one. So when it's like this, guys, this is what you should remember. We are given 2x plus 1 squared is equals to 4. So you have to root both sides. Root both sides. So we are left with 2x plus 1. Okay. Let me use this. 2x plus 1 plus or minus 2. So we are going to have 2x plus 1, which is equals to 2, or 2x plus 1, which is equals to negative 2. So in this case, we have 2x equals to, when you take 1 to the other side, we're going to have 2 minus 1, because when you transpose positive number, it becomes a negative number. So 2 minus 1, that will be 1. Divide both sides by 2, we're going to have 1.5. So we are going to have half there. Then let's work it out. This we have 2x. We have 2x. Okay, 2x, which is when you transpose 1 to the other side, it becomes negative 3. So we'll divide both sides by 2. So we have x is half, or x is negative 3 all over 2. So that's the first solution in that case. Right. So let's go to let's look at 1.1.2. At 1.1.2, we are given 4x squared minus 11 minus 12x correct to 2 decimal places. Right. So that this one, when they say correct to 2 decimal places, you have to use a quadratic formula. Let's work it out as well. You have to use a quadratic formula. So we have 1.1.1.2. So remember that we're given 4x squared minus 11, which is equals to negative 12x. So the best way is to take 12x to the other side. We write this in a standard form. When you take negative 12 to the other side, it becomes positive 12x minus 11 equated to 0. So we cannot factorize this. The factors of 11 won't give us this 12, right? And it won't satisfy the whole equation. So we are supposed to use a quadratic formula in this case. So we are going to say x is equals to negative b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So what is we have to substitute. What is our b? Our b, it's gonna be minus 12 plus or minus root, then your b will be 12 squared, your a will be 4, and then your c will be negative 11. Okay, divided by 2a. Your a, it's 4 there. So we have what? Negative 12 plus or minus root. Then when we say 2 times 4, in this case, we are going to have 8. So we'll have to work out the one that is in the square root. We have to work out the one that is in the square root. So it's going to be 12 squared. So that will be 12 squared minus 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by negative 11. So that gives us 320. So from here, you have to punch your calculator. So when you punch your calculator, we have negative 12 plus root 320 divided by 8. Correct to 2 decimal places. That will be 0.74. 0.74. 0.74, or remember that they said leave your answer correct to 2 decimal places, or negative 3.74. So those are the solutions that we are going to have in this case. Those are the solutions that we are going to have, right? So let's go to, that was 1.1.2. Let's work out 1.1.3. 1.1.3, you can see it's an inequality. And how many marks is that? That's 4 marks. So it's an inequality. So the best way is to transpose 9x squared to the other side, to the left hand side. So that will change the sign of positive 9x squared, right? Let's see. Remember that we are given as 15x minus 4, which is less than 9x squared. So when you transpose 9, it becomes negative 9x squared. Then you have plus 15x as well as minus 4, which is less than 0. So you'll then divide everything by negative. When you divide by negative, you're going to have positive 9x squared. Here we are going to have negative 15x plus 4. Remember, when you divide everything by negative, the sign of inequality will change the direction. So it will face this side. It will be greater than 0 now. So from here, we will have to, you can use a quadratic formula or you can just factorize. In this case, let me factorize. I'll just say 3x as well as 3x. Then factors of 4, it's going to be 1 as well as 4 in this case, which is greater than 0. So since we have a plus here, they will take a sign of a middle term. Both of them will be minus. So the critical values in this case will be x is equals to 1 over 3, or x is equals to 4 all over 3 in this case. So those guys are the critical values in this case, right? So those are the critical values. So let's write this in an inequality form. So we have x 1 over 3. X will be lesser than 1 over 3, but this one will be greater. So in this case, we are going to have 1 that is lesser and greater. So we're going to have x is greater than 4 all over 3. For those of you who will use will put represent this also as well as in a graphical form, we are going to have something like this. So in which here it will be 1 over 3 and it's going to be 4 all over 3. So that's how it should be at 1.1.3. Now I want us to take a look at our 1.1.4. We can see that it's a set equation. It's already being isolated. So the first thing, guys, is to get rid of square root there. That's why it was 5 marks. First thing, get rid of square root. Let's work this out. At 1.1.4, guys, we will square both sides here. No? Let's square both sides. First thing first will be 2x minus 2 minus 7 minus 2x, which is equals to 1. So let's square everything. When you square 1 here, you are going to have positive 1. So, but okay, let's square this. You square the first. Remember, it's like working this out is like working this type of expression. Remember, where you will square the first, it will be a squared. Then this 2 multiplies the first and the last term. then you will then, in which you're going to have, in this case, when you multiply this, you're going to have 2ab plus b squared. So we are going to use the same procedure here. We're going to use the same procedure. So in this case, we are going to have, please guys, don't mind my pen. So when you square this will be 2x minus 2. And this will be 2x minus 2. So from there, we will have to, this 2 will multiply everything here. So we are going to have 2. We'll put this in a square root. This 2 will multiply the first and the last term. So it's going to be 2x minus 2. Let's put that in the square root, as well as 7. I mess it up. So let me have a space, proper space. Then you this square the first, take it out of root. Then the 2 will multiply the first and the last term. So we are going to have 2 here, as well as square root of 2x minus 2, as well as 7 minus 2x. Right? Okay. Still, then you square the last. That will be plus 7 minus 2x, which is equals to 1. So now let's work it out. So we can see, let's collect the like terms. 2x and 2x will cancel each other, because this is 2x, 2x minus 2x is 0. So we have negative 2 as well as 7. Negative 2 plus 7, that will be 5. So we have 5 minus 2 there, as well as, let's work out everything that is here. So when we say 2x times 7, that will be 14x, then negative 2. Remember, use a fold method here. Negative 2 times 7, that will be negative 14. Then we have, remember that we said this and this is this, and this will be this, right? So we have negative 2x times 2x, that will be negative 4, that will be negative 4x squared, right? So, but when we say negative 2 times this, we are going to have, let's see, we're going to have positive 4x, right? So that's what we are going to have inside this bracket, right? We have already worked out this and this, so we are having 1 here. So the best way is to take 5 to the other side, so that we are able to work freely. So, but let's refix this. So here we have negative 4x squared. The like terms and the like terms, that will be 18x, because 14 plus 4, that will be 18x. So we have minus 14. So from here we have minus 14. Then, okay, when you transpose 5 to the other side, it becomes negative 4. So the best way will be square. Let's square everything to get rid of the square root. So all right, so when you square everything here, will be 2 and the square root will cancel. Then here will be left with positive, will be left with, is it positive? Yes, positive 4, because we are squaring a negative number, so it's going to be positive 4 there. So we'll be left with negative 4x squared plus 18x minus 14, right? Okay, equated to, so what is negative 4 squared? That will be, guess that will be 16, right? That will be positive 16. That will be positive 16. Definitely it should be positive 16. So the best way here is to divide everything by 4. Divide everything by 4, then you have negative 4x squared plus 18x minus 14. When it, how many times does 4 goes into 4? It goes 4 times. So the best way, it will be 4x squared plus 18x minus 14. Let's take 4 to the other side. Becomes 4, which is equals to 0. So we have negative 4x squared plus 18x minus 18, which is equals to 0. So divide everything by 4. You're going to have 4x squared minus 18x plus 18. Right, so the best way, let's divide everything by 2 to simplify it easier. So we are going to have 2x squared. This will be minus 9x plus 9. equated to 0. So we could just factorize this, guys. When we have 2x and we have x here, so the factors of 9, that will be 3 and 3. Right, so the signs will be the same. So when we solve this will be 3 all over 2, or x is equals to 3. So remember, we're solving a third equation, so we need to check for validity. So let's start by let's take in this case, for instance, if I take 3 all over 2, and substitute it here, will I get positive 1 now? Let's try. You have this is your root, so you have 2. Let's put 3 all over 2. Okay. Minus 2 minus we're having what? 7 minus 3 all over 2. Okay, we are still on the right track. We have negative 1. That will be negative 1. So that means 3 all over 2 won't be the solution. We must get positive 1. That's our aim. Right, let's try 3 then now. So we have 2 times 3 minus 2 subtracted by 7. No. So minus 2 times 3. What are we getting? Definitely we get positive 1. So that means this, it's not applicable. This, it's not applicable. So that means our solution should be x is equals to 3 in this case. So that's how the 5 marks came about, guys. That's how the 5 marks came about. So let's go to our 1.2 question. Now we are going to 1.2. Solve the equations simultaneously. Right. That means we have to find a and b. Let's start with the one that contains a logarithm. So the marks, we have 5 marks as well. Right. So let's put this into practice. Let's start with the log. At 1.2, most of you may have panic because of the log. So you have log 2a plus 5, not 3, plus 5 equated to 3. So when they give you a log, change it to an exponential form. Remember that this is log base number, which is equals to exponent. So in this case, it's going to be base. To change it to exponent, it's going to be base, which is 2. And remember, it's log base number. Log base number is equals to exponent. So it's going to be base exponent, which is 2 to the power of 3. So which is equals to a plus 5. So what is 2 to the power of 3? That's 8. Then we have a plus 5, which is equals to, then when you take 5 to the other side, it's the same as having 8 minus 5. That will give us 3, guys. So meaning that a, it's 3. So you can check whether it's correct. Just punch logarithm there, your log. So it's going to put 3 there. 3 plus 5, then put, okay. Oh, first thing here, we have to put 2, which is our base. Let me start refresh. Log 2. Then we have 3 plus 5. That will be 3. So it's correct, guys. So that's then we have, this is our equation 1. So we are going to substitute this into equation 2. We're given as a squared plus b squared minus 2ab minus 8 equated to 0. So where you see a squared, you're going to put 3. So 3 squared will be 9b squared. Then when you place 3 here, 2 times 3, that will be 6ab. Sorry for that. That will be 6b. Okay, we have 6b minus 8 equated to 0. Right, did I did it well? Yes, 3 squared is 9. Then 2 times 3, that will be 6b minus 8 equated to 0. So we are going to factorize this. We have 3b here as well as 3b. So what about the signs? The signs will be different. So we're going to have 4 and 2. So in this case, you should mind your signs, guys. One will attain a negative sign and the other one will attain a positive sign. So here the signs will be different. So we are going to have minus as well as plus equated to 0. So B here, when you transpose and make B the subject, you are going to have 4 all over 3, as well as here you're going to have this will be negative 2 all over 3. So that's how you can work out the 1.2 question. Now let's look at 1.3, which is our last question. If P is equals to root x plus 2 and root 16x minus x squared, for which values of x will be real? From your natures of roots, when something is real, it should be greater than 0. So let's start with this, the numerator at 1.3. Remember that P is equals to root x plus 2 divided by 16x squared. So let me start with the denominator, the part. So it's going to be 16 minus x squared, which is greater than 0. So we are going to have 4 minus x, as well as 4 plus x. So in which, when you have this, you have 4 minus x is less than 0. So take 4 to the other side. This becomes right. Oh, when you write this, what will happen here when you write it in a exponential in our inequality form? We will have actually negative 4 is greater than x, but negative 4 is greater than x but lesser than 4. So that's how you are going to have in this case, right? This is what you're going to have. So in that case, you're going to have x plus 2, which is greater than 0. So when you take the other one, this will be x is greater than negative 2, right? So that's what we are going to have. So that's how, guys, you're going to work out this. Right. So because they said for which values of s will be real, so those are the values that we are going to have at 1.3. Hope you find this video useful, and do not forget to subscribe, right? Comment on this comment section. Tomorrow we are going to have do question 2. We are going to look at question 2, where we are going to deal with patterns, right? Where we are going to deal with patterns. And right, see you on the next video, and we love you.